Hello everyone, Dead Gambit here with part 2 of the Changeable Skills tutorial. Now in the first video I went over what I was going to be working on in this tutorial by showing you the changeable skill system that was implemented in an older game I had made. And so now we're actually going to get into it. This tutorial is only going to have 2 parts. I just wanted to put the intro there, sort of like a little teaser for you guys. I know it took a while. Again, I'm very sorry. I'm very busy, but now that I have the time, we can go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to work on is the GUI, because that's basically where most of the we're going to be able to, most of the functionality comes in, where we switch out everything. So we're going to go here. In fact, all of the functionality is going to be all in the GUI, and it's going to be all local player. The only time it wouldn't be is if you are actually using the skill. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be making an actual skill or not. As I record this, I'll kind of decide whether or not I'm going to do that. But this will help you get into those get into the process, I should say, of gearing towards a dynamic skills system in a way. So anyways, so let's get started here. So we're going to go inside the GUI, and we're going to make obviously we want the screen GUI. Let's call this our main. And we're going to have 2 frames actually. So this will be our, this is going to be our HUD. This is going to be our player HUD. I'm going to set that to fit the screen. And the reason is because, and the reason I wanted to fit the screen is because maybe, just maybe, you want your player HUD to include your health, maybe at the top left corner or the top right corner. Maybe you want different things around here, and so that's why we're gonna make it kind of fit the whole screen. So let's change the size to 1010. The position we'll put at -51, and the size we'll put at 51. In this way, I don't think they have the top bar anymore. I've actually paid attention to it now, and I think it's now completely transparent. But because it still has the setting button here, or the menu, and the leaderboard here, the default leaderboard and stuff, it's still the GUI is still gonna like cut off right at this point, and that's why I like to set it. I think I'm gonna set these to -52 and 52 just to be on the safe side. You can still easily like just drag your GUIs, your frames anywhere here. You know, you put it there, it'll be in the exact same position when you play the real game. But it's always good to be safe in that aspect, just to make sure. So anyways, so we have our HUD here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in another frame, and this will be the skills. This will be our skills holder, actually. Okay, so let's see, I'm gonna put in some random dimensions here. Obviously that's too tall, so I'm gonna shorten it, maybe about here. Let me emulate this real quick. Yeah, I like that size. That's about a good size. So I'm gonna leave it like that. Let's see. I like I like my stuff to be uniformed, So I'm gonna add in a grid layout. And then I'm going to start putting in more, no, not frames? Yeah, frames. I'm going to start putting in more frames. Now, the skills holder can actually be set to transparent because we don't have to see that. We just want to see the skills. Or if you don't want it completely transparent, you can have it maybe 0.5. And then we can edit the background color for it. So anyways, okay, so the dimensions can only be changed in here. So what would we wanted more of a square. I never get these right on the first time, so I'm gonna throw in some random numbers. Okay, that's way too tall. Maybe yeah, we can have it 0.8. What does that look like? That's good. It is kind of on the small side. Let's I'm gonna center this. Put this in the center. And then I'm actually going to resize this just a tad. Just a tad. Because I do want it to be seen. So let's see. So I had 0.1 in 8. If I did 0.29? No, wait, 19. Would 19 work? No. 15. Still too big. I don't want to spend too much time on this, because in the end, we're just going to copy and paste. Okay, so I have it set to 0.12 and 0.9. Now I'm going to look at this. Let me do the average laptop view. It's not that bad. It's a little bit of a rectangle, but it's not that bad. So I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to duplicate. And then maybe 0.05000. Whoa! I think I got too many. Alright. But I don't like the spacing there, so let's drop it to 0.2, 0.25. You know, I just don't like that, all that space. Let's see. What if we did 0.1 and then added one more? But then we have all that outer space. This is like stuff that I always go through. I always got to decide how I really want it. I can't always be like perfect, but I do want it to be like this. See, it's kind of even here. I have an even spacing even on the edges here, so that's pretty nice. I like that. Okay, let me check my notes. Okay. So basically, we're just gonna name these. Slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5, slot 6, and slot 7. Alright, so here we have our skills holder and our 7 slots. Now, let me see. So we have that. Let me look at my notes. I believe... Did we add the values in here? Let's see. Right, okay, so what we're gonna add in each one is a string value. And this string value is going to hold when we get to the scripting part, these string values are gonna hold the names of the skills that we've picked for each slot. So we're gonna have this skill name. We're gonna copy and just drop it right in. Now, for now, that's all I'm gonna do with the slot. There's a little bit more that we're gonna do, but for now, I'm gonna end it there, and I'm gonna start working on the actual holder. So here we have the HUD. I'm going to disable that real quick. Badoop, get out of here. I'm gonna add another frame, and this will be our skills inventory. And I'm gonna throw in some random dimensions again. And feel free to resize these however you want. It's all up to you. You don't have to do it based on how size them based on how I size them. You know, do what you like. Whatever you want. Go wild. Oops, didn't mean to hit that. Let's see. So if I turn this on, that is a bit high. Let me see. I think I want it sitting just a tad above our skill slot. So maybe here. Okay, so we have that. And we can do the same thing. We can set it to transparent 0.5 or whatever. Make it a little dark. And do that. Yeah, that's pretty good. And again, I'm going to... Actually, no. Here's what I'm going to do. So this is going to be our skills inventory. And then... What did I... Let's see. Oh, I know what I was going to do. Sorry, I'm trying to read these notes at the same time as... remember exactly what I did. Okay, so actually there's going to be... I know what's going on. Okay. Sorry again. So here, this is going to be the actual skills holder. Skills holder 1010. And we're actually going to resize this a bit because we're going to put another frame here. It's going to be a skills holder. We can... Actually, you know what? Just for the heck of it, let's... You want to make that a frame? It doesn't. If you want to make it a frame, go ahead. Either way, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you name them properly or whatnot. So that's skills holder, and I'm actually going to set that to transparent, and I'm going to put in another grid layout. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm going to put in another grid layout, and we're going to fill this with text buttons, or you can use image buttons. When we get into the scripting, I'll show you how you can do both. So let's see, how many slots do we have? We have 7. Let's make about 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's resize them. 0.1, 0, 0.8, 0. Whoa, why did I put 0.8? Maybe, no, that's too big. I was thinking of the skill slot. My bad. Let me see. 0.15? It's a little on the tall side. I mean, it's not bad. We're only gonna see this temporarily, so it's not really like that bad, but whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna call this skill 1. This will be skill 2. Skill 3. Skill 4. Skill 5. Skill 6. Skill 7. And skill 8. One thing I forgot to mention. In this case, like for the skill holder, I would go ahead and set this to the name, the sort order to name. That way everything will be lined up perfectly like this. Like just in case you added a 3 and then that 3 somehow gets shifted to the front, you know, and then all that stuff. You don't want that, so it's best in this case, since we are doing like a uniformity thing, because we're gonna be setting this to our keyboard keys, right? So you definitely want to make sure that that when you're looking at, let's say you're looking at the slot for skill 2, and you press 2. And it's showing that the slot for skill 2 is somehow in the area where skill 4 should be. You don't want that, and that's why you want to set it to the name and have it like this, because then it will put everything in order. And you don't have to do this for necessarily. You don't have to do this for the inventory, because generally when you're making skills, you would not name your skills skill 1 through skill 8. It would be like fireball or lightning strike, dragon breath, whatever skill you want to name it. But for this case, I am going to also keep it as the order set by name. And let's see. So that's good. That's good there. And then we're going to add another UI. We're still in the skills inventory. We're going to add another frame. I know it seems like this video is all frames. I know. Let me set transparency to 0 real quick, because I want to match it up kind of. Actually, I got to change these dimensions. Let's see. 0, 1, 0. It's going to go off screen for a bit. Let's fit it here. The gap is fine, because these are going to be invisible anyways. Actually, this one can be slightly darker. And this is going to be our slot location frame. And basically, it's going to hold... we're going to have several different things going on here. So, in the script, every time we click on one of our skills in our inventory, this frame is going to come up and it's going to ask, which slot do you want to put this skill in? And that's where we're in. And then we're going to have like a set of buttons that shows slot 1 through 8. You click on one of those buttons, and those buttons correspond to our HUDs here. So they're all gonna come together. So let's see. So we have slot location. Let me put. I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna put in text. .10. That's pretty good. I'm gonna text scale it. Make the transparency set to 1. I'm gonna make it white text. And it's going to say choose a slot. And we're going to add another frame. I'm sorry, I know you're sick of all these frames, but they are useful. Very helpful in the end. Now we're gonna set it just under the title. I'm gonna name this title actually. Just because, oh, that wasn't under the title. Here's under the title. Here we go. There we go. Okay. And this will be, we'll just call this buttons. Very generic name, I know. And then in here, we're going to, I'm gonna once again use a grid layout. And then I'm gonna put in more, oh, that's a box. I'm gonna put in more, what the, oops. I'm gonna put in more text buttons. Here we go. The size is gonna be 10. Let's do 0.10. Hey, look, pretty good on the first try. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're gonna do 0 on the x-axis. Maybe 0.1 on the y. That's way too big. 0.5. How about, oh no? 3. Nope. 2. That'll have to do. I can always just set the vertical to center. Okay, that'll have to do. And just to get rid of that glaring white, let's make these gray. Let's have a gray color for these. Maybe get rid of their borders. Yeah, that's definitely, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna do the same with the skills holder. I'm gonna make these gray. Gonna get rid of their border. Oh, I forgot to set their texts. The text is gonna be scaled. Gonna make it white text. And just go in here and name all these. Skill 1. Skill 2. I'm probably gonna skip skill 3. Because you pretty much get the gist of what I'm doing here. Everything is basically setting up. Skill 5. Skill 6. Skill 7. And skill 8. Alright. Do the same thing here. Make the text white. Make it scaled. And then we go through. Actually, we're going to name these slot 1. Slot 2. Slot 3. Slot 4. Slot 5. Slot 6. Slot 7. slot 8. And then we're going to name it slot 1, slot 2. Actually, shoot, I put spaces in these. You don't want spaces. Because then you'd have to, if you put spaces in there, when we go to reference, I'm going to reference everything by the names. So if we put a space in here, we're going to have to put them in, what is it, brackets? Is that what they're called? So there's the curly brace, and then there's, yeah, the brackets. So you'll have to put everything in the brackets, and then, you know, put in the quotation marks, the exact name. I don't want to go through all that, so we're just gonna name them all. We're just gonna make the actual button name, not the text. The button names will remain with no spaces in between the words or the numbers. The text is fine though. The text doesn't matter. This is simply just for the player to easily be able to navigate through the inventory and whatnot. Slot 5. No, I did slot 5. Slot 6. Slot 7. And slot 8. Alright, and here we go. We now have our skills inventory. And if I can find what I'm looking for, here we go. And our actual skills hotbar, I should say. This will be our skills hotbar. This will be our inventory. For now, I'm going to set buttons slot location to false, because we don't want to see that until we actually select it. And now we're going to go into the scripting portion, which is where all the functionalities and stuff is going to come in. So, without further ado, let's get that started. Okay, so before we actually get into the script, one of the things that we want to do is we're going to define some values inside of our skills. And these values are going to determine if, based on the script, they're going to determine whether we already have that skill equipped. If we already do, then you know, we'll have a bool value for that, and we'll be able to switch it out. We'll have a bool value for whether we currently have it selected or not. We'll have a value for what slot it's in, and we'll have a value for the cooldown or the timer, which is, you know, the cooldown basically lets you know how long it takes for the skill to finish cooling down before you can use it again. So what I'm going to do is we'll make a configuration folder, and I mean, you can call it whatever you want. I'll just call it values. You know, I'm gonna be a little bit lazy right now, and let me see. And let's see how I have this. Okay, so we're going to put in two bool values. One is going to be equipped, and the other will be select. I'm going to do is selected, because I think selected is already a variable in scripting, so I don't want to. You never want to confuse the script when you're doing stuff like this. So always be sure to make sure that any values you make aren't already variables that are within the that are already defined by the script. So let's see. The next thing I have is We're going to make one string value and one number value. So let's see, string value, insert a number value. Wait, did it go in? No, the heck? A number value, there we go. All right, so the string value, this is just going to be the skill name. And then the number value will be the cooldown. Now I'm going to define, I'm going to put in the value. We'll put a cooldown of, let's say 10. We'll start off with that. Now the rest of this, we're going to leave blank. The value is going to, for the skill name, is going to be blank. Is selected is going to be set to false. And equipped is going to be set to false because we haven't we haven't equipped anything like that yet. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this and throw it on in. Just throw them all in there. Okay. And then close those up. And now we go into making the, we'll call this a control script. And we'll go into making the function for every time we press the, for every time we click on one of these skills. Okay. All right, so first thing we're going to do is let's do this. Let's do for index children. Oh, let's do child in pairs. Whoops. That's supposed to be a comma here, not an M. These children in pairs, and we're doing script dot parent get children do. Then we'll do if child is a what are these? These are text buttons, right? Text button. Then and if child is a is the same as it's the same as if you were to do if child dot class name, only in this instance because we're using the function is a, anytime we type within these parentheses we'll automatically get a whole bunch of auto-generated stuff that Roblox has ready for references, like accessories, different things like that. So it's good to use this, so you don't have to do that extra typing. You know, you just press like one key and then it comes up with, you know, it uses IntelliSense and it comes up with whatever you could possibly be referencing. So that's always pretty neat to use. It's a whole lot easier than doing child class name. Okay, so where was I? So we get that it's going to be a text button. So we do child dot mouse button one click connect function. Okay, let's see. And so this is now when we're going to start defining the our values here. So first I'm going to reference the configuration. So we're going to do local values equals child dot is values, right? Yes. Equals child dot values. So now we'll come in here and we'll do if values dot equipped dot value equals false, I don't know why I say equals equals, because that just means equal, but I like to verbalize everything that's happening here. Let's see. How did I have this set up? Let me see. Okay, so if equipped.value equals false, now this is where I'm gonna automatically, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm gonna automatically set the slot location invisible, because say we already have a previous button selected and it was already visible, so we kind of want to, well, actually, you know what, actually I don't think we need to do that. I probably have another way. I'll see if this works. If I can get this to work from another way, then it'll all be good. So let's see. So I'm going to do values.equipped equals false. Then, oh, you know what? Hold on. Should be if values dot is selected dot value equals false, then we can run another if statement if values dot is selected, no, stupid, is equipped dot value equals false, then let me see here. Wait, what am I'm doing this wrong. Hold on, I gotta look at my notes. Oh, okay, I got it. I'm dumb. All right. So I was right the first time. So if it is, if values.equip.value equals false, then if values dot is selected dot value equals false, then values dot is selected dot value equals true. And then we are going to let's see, let's define local slot selection equals script dot parent dot slot location. Okay, so we're going to do slot selection dot visible equals true. Now I'm going to test this out real quick. So I want to see if it actually goes through. Okay, here we are. Hey-o! So now we have the thing on, and if I go into player GUI, go into skills inventory, skill holder, I selected one, so the value of selected should be true. There we go. Now we also want to define or not define. We also want to have a statement where if the value was selected, then I mean, if it's already selected, we also want to be able to close it. So else if values dot is selected dot value equals true, then we simply turn it off. Do false, false. And of course, I'm gonna test it out. There we go. And then now it toes off. On, off, on, off. Now, what if we have the instance where we have, because this is going to come up where you probably have two you probably have you select two different skills. Now the issue that's going to happen is that most likely if I click on skill 1 and skill 2, and then if I look in here in my player GUI skill holder, you're going to see that it says that they are both selected. Now we don't want that, so what we do is we put I think this is gonna work. If child dot name is not equal to child dot name, this is then now we do values that is selected, that value will be equal to false. So this should, I know it seems confusing, but this should turn it off. So I have 1 as is selected, I select that, there we go, and I go to 2. Oh wait, no. Let me see, so local values equal child dot values. Oh, you know what? Okay, so we'll probably have to do it this way. Let's see. Cut. So we'll do for index not this child in pairs, or actually we'll just do not child. Script not parent. It's just going to be like the same thing. Do, but this time it's going to be because it's not the one. If we select something else but another button has already been selected, we're going to set that to false. So if not child dot name is not equal to child dot name, then, and then we go to the values here. So we'll actually have a definition for the not child's values. Not child values equals not child, not values, and then we will turn off, so it'll be not not child's values dot is selected dot value equals to false. Now this should work, hopefully. What I just did here was like, if you select 1 and 2, without this, both 1 and 2 will be shown as is selected. We don't want that, and for the simple reason that it'll make it, you know, we only want to focus really on one skill at a time. So let's see. If I'm not mistaken, doing that should turn one of them off. Let's see. So I'm gonna open player GUI, skills, skill locations, 1 and 2. I'm gonna open their values here. I'm gonna go to is selected. I'm gonna select 1, and I have an issue. Oh, I forgot to define what the child is. So you always want to make sure that when you do like a for loop, if you're trying to go for a specific class of objects, you always want to make sure that you have something that defines what it is. Because if you have like a bunch of frames and then you have a text box in there and you use a for loop, you're just gonna have a bad time. So slide holder, so 1, 2, open these values up. So when I select 1, it should be, nope, still giving me issues. So what's the issue here? Oh, okay, I still didn't, I forgot, I just copied and pasted it. There we go. Okay, this time for sure, it should work. Okay, test number whatever. So here we go. We have is selected for skill 1. I hit that. Boom. It says it's selected. Now I hit number 2. It turns selected off for skill 1, but number 2 should be on. I hit number 3, and it basically, you know, I can keep doing this, and then I can just turn it off whenever I want. So there we go. Now we have that going for us. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to start putting actual information. We want to start feeding information into our slot location so that when we set up the actual buttons, we'll know which ones it's referencing, and we can then shoot it over to our hotkeys bar. So in order for us to do that, we have to So we already have the slot selection defined. So let me get my notes again. I have the information for what I did with my slot picker. Let me see. Okay, so I used the skill name. So let's see. I'm just gonna put a string. Is that what I used? Yes. Just gonna put a string value in the. Oh, this is the skills holder. I'm sorry. So go ahead and open the slot location and throw in a skills. A string value under slot location, and we'll call this skill name. So what we're gonna do, going to insert a local script, Actually, let's put it up here. So don't put it in buttons, put it up here in the actual holder. And we're gonna call it control again. So that's gonna be our control. Okay, what did I do here? Da, 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 da. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, so we're gonna go back over here and we're going to start putting in our information. So we're gonna do slot selection dot skill name dot value equals child dot name, and then we'll do slot selection dot title dot text equals, and then we're actually gonna keep the text. Actually, we're gonna do this, so it's gonna be choose a slot for child dot name. I'm gonna go ahead and test this out. Okay, so here we go. Let's get rid of this. All right, so here we go. Choose a slot for skill 1. Choose a slot for skill 2. Choose a slot for skill 3. And then we look in here into the GUI, and we'll see that the skill name updates skill 4, skill 5, skill 6, skill 7, and skill 8. All right, so now that we have our little value here, let's actually go into the script for our slot picker GUI and start working on the actual functions for it. So let's see here. How did I do this? I did another 4, so for index child in pairs script.parent.buttons get children do how did this go? Let's see. I did that. Okay, so first I gotta make a reference to our actual hotbar. So it's going to be local hotbar equals script.parent parent.hud dot skill holder. All right. Okay, so now we have the child will represent our buttons in here, and then we made reference to our actual hotbar. So then we do if child is a, once again it's a text button, then child.mouse button 1 click connect function, and then that's when we do another for loop for actual skill slots. So we'll do for index skill slots in pairs, and then we do hotbar get children, and then let's see, oops, do if skill slots is a, what do we use, frames? yeah, we used a frame. So if skill slot is a frame, then we want to make sure that and that's why I said make sure that the skill slots are the same name as the buttons. So then we can do if skill slots dot name is equal to child dot name, then what did I do here? Let me see. So then I also need to make a reference to the inventory. So local skill inventory equals script parent skill holder. So then we'll do another loop for index actual skill in pairs skill inventory get children do, and then we had to define what the actual skill is. If actual skill is a frame, no, it's a text button. Is a text button, then okay, so we actually have to define some values within the actual skill slots. So let me okay, so we're gonna have a few variables in here. So we're going to have a bool value. It's going to be called can use. Then we're going to have a number value. And we'll call that original CD, which is cooldown. We already have skill names. And we're gonna have the slot name in here. So we're just gonna duplicate skill name since it's a string value, and we're gonna call it slot name. Actually, do we need slot name? No, we don't need slot name because we already have it here, so we don't need that. So then we're gonna have the last one is going to be our timer. So that's going to be a number value, and we're going to call it timer. All right, so now let me see. So now we're going to check. Sorry, we're going to go into the control script for our slot location, and now we are going to check if actual skill dot name is equal to skill slots or skill name dot value. Then, so if that's the case, we're going to set everything within the skill slots to false. I'm gonna put this in another configurations folder. I'm gonna put these values in another configurations folder because I kind of want it. I don't want it to be messy. So, let's see. There we go. So now that we have the skill slots defined, I'm gonna do local values equal skill slots dot, did I call it values or oh dang it. Okay, hold on. dot values. Okay. So now we'll do so then we have values.skill name. So if actual skill.name is equal to values.skill name.value, then we'll do value dot skill name dot value. We'll set that to pretty much that's pretty much just nil. Oh my god. There we go. And then we'll go ahead and have the actual skill dot values dot equip dot value equals false. I'll go ahead and explain what's happening afterwards. An actual skill dot values dot slot. Actually, let me do this. No, I'll leave it like this. A slot dot value equals nil. I think I missed something. But I'm gonna go ahead and test this out. So I did that. Oh, you know what? I did this out of order. This is for if you already have the skill equipped. Yeah, I did this out of order. My apologies. But I did miss a step. Because we do have this can use value, and I do want to, and we're supposed to have it on here. So when you have, when you found that the skill's name is equal to the child's name, then you go here. You go to if skill slot. No. If values dot can use dot value equals true, then and then down here you want to put an else statement. Else if values dot can use dot value equals false, then and then we're gonna have, whoops, what happened? Oh, oops, there we go. Then we're going to do a print skill is in use. Cannot switch. Okay, so this was actually to turn off. Actually, no, this was to switch it out, I believe. So now we go back here. Now we're going to do, let's see, So we're going to go back to here, and we're going to put in the for okay, so for index skill chosen in pairs, and we're basically going back to where we defined our actual skill. Do, whoops, do, then we have to define it, obviously. Skill chosen is a text button, then we look for if the skill was actually selected. So if skill chosen dot values dot is selected dot value equals true, then we go back to skill slot. If skill slot, actually we can just do values. If values dot can use dot value equals true, then we go back to skill chosen dot values dot is dot equipped dot value equals true. Oops. Then we do skill chosen dot values dot slot dot value equals child dot name. Then we do skill chosen dot is selected dot value will be set to false. And this is where we start going into and this is where we start putting in like the cooldown and the timer and all that. So we are going to skill slots dot be values dot original cd dot value equals skill chosen dot values dot timer dot value. And then we do the same with I'm just going to duplicate this. And then we do the same with the actual timer that we have in our skill slot here. So then we have skill slot. Oops. Then we have values dot. Did I add a text here? No, I don't think I did. Okay, so then we'll just change the let me see here. Yeah, these don't have text labels, so actually we'll go ahead and add that in. I'll go ahead and add a text label. Just gonna have it cover that. It's going to be background invisible, text will be scaled, and for now we're not gonna have it read anything. And this will be, what did we say it was? This will be our skill name. So we copy that, paste it in to all of them, and then we come back here. And actually, I forgot that, did I put that in there? Oh, I guess I did put the skills name in there. So actually we can do this. So we'll actually have skill slots dot skill name dot text will be nothing. And then we'll have values dot skill name dot value equals skill chosen, not name. And then we'll have skill slots dot skill name dot text equal to skill chosen dot name. Okay, so up here, so let me explain what's going on up here. Up here only applies if we already had a skill that was in a skill slot. It's looking for it, and if you like pressed it and wanted to put it back in that same or press it again into the same slot, it removes it. Down here is where we add in the new skill, a completely different skill into a brand new slot or already existing slot that's probably already taken. We replace the old skill with the what am I trying to say here? With a new one. So let me go ahead and test it out. So slot 1, so I want it for slot 1. Skill in use cannot switch. Oh, I'm so dumb. Okay, so make sure that can use that the bool value is set to true. And that way you won't have any issues. Because if it's set to false, that means that we're already using the skill. And you can't really use a skill if you have just joined. So it wouldn't work out. So do we have skill 1? And we hit slot 1. Oh, I have another error. Let's see. Slot is not a value. It's not? I didn't put it in? Oh wait, that's the HUD. So we go to skill holders. Wait a minute. I thought I did. Okay, so we're gonna add a string value. It's gonna be named slot. Okay, so we shouldn't have that error anymore. Okay, if I hit 1. Ah, here we go again. Okay. Is selected is not a valid member a text button in skill holder. How? Oh god. And this is basically scripting is a lot of trial and error. So let me try this again. Okay, I select skill 1. I want it in slot 1. Okay. Let's see. Timer is not a valid member of configuration. Players skill inventory, skill holder, skill 1. Timer is not timer. Cooldown is supposed to be cooldown. I am so sorry. I am so sorry, everyone. Because in my notes, I have, I kind of switched out the, in my notes, it's like an older version. This is more newer, like with the organization and stuff, but So I kind of was just going by off of that at some point, and I messed up, so my bad. Okay, let's see. Will it work? No. It says cooldown? Yes, it is. Because the D is lowercase. Of course, of course. I am losing my mind right now. Okay, any others? Oh my god! There we go. Okay. Okay, so then we have skill 2. If we want skill 2 into slot 2. Uh-oh. Let's see. Well, I should have expected that. So let's see. Wait, why are these out here? Oh god. Gambit, what are you doing? You're supposed to be teaching these people. Okay, make sure that the slots are actually in the configuration. And let's see. For this, I am going to actually gonna have this child dot visible equals false. So every time we successfully equip a skill, I'm gonna set it to false. Okay. Ah, Gambit, come on. My apologies, everyone. Okay, so let's see. Equip skill 1, please. I am an idiot. And you know why? It was not supposed to set that the actual child to invisible. We want the parent to be invisible. No, wait, we want to script that. Let me see, so we have slot location. So it's... No, it's just script that parent. Actually, we just do script that parent. That visible equals false. Okay. Alright, there we go. And then, let's see, I go to 2, and I want to choose one. I'm going to put skill 2 into... No. What? Hold on. Wait a minute. What? Hold on. Okay, so I actually messed up here. Let's see. So we actually have to start from here. If skills slots.name equals child.name, then your skill slots dot, what do I have it here as? So I go skill slots value values dot skill name dot value is not equal to that's not equal to that's not equal to child. No, that's not equal to script dot parent dot skill name dot value. Then we actually want to here it is. We actually want to bring this in here. I knew I did something wrong. I think... Oh, it's because of this. I had to... This has to come before I check. Okay. I'll explain everything once I finish fixing all of this. I don't need that. I don't need that. Need to put that here. Okay. And then I go ahead and exit this. Okay, so I need to put this here. Okay, if I did this correctly, and I'll explain it afterwards, but if I did this correctly, I shouldn't have any more problems, hopefully. Okay, so I go around, I want to select, hit it again, turn it off, hit it again, turn it off. I select slot 1 for my skills, it's in there. I want skill 2 to go in slot 2. Okay, there we go. And then I want skill 3 to be in slot 2. And then slot 2 is unequipped. I put that into slot... Okay, there we go. Oh my god. Alright, I got it. Everything is working now. Then slot 4. Puts skill 5 into slot 3. And then everybody is happy. Okay, so let me look, make sure that everything... I mean, it should be because I don't have any errors, but you can never be too sure. So in slot 1, the skill name is skill 2, like it says there. Alright, the values, the original cooldown is 10, just like I had put in before. The timer will count down to 10, and the skill name is skill 2, just like we put. Okay, so that is good. That looks good. This is skill 5, skill 5. If I want skill 6 to go to slot 1, I put it there. And then I have it there. Alright, so... Wow, it was... I apologize. It was really trial and error with this. I did it before, but the problem is it was like... It was kind of a while ago, and I never took notes on it, so I just recently had taken notes on it, and a lot of it was out of order, and I apologize for that. But anyways, I'll explain what's going on. Excuse me. So, when we're in the process of selecting our choosing our skills, the first step here is we look for the we run a loop for all the skills, for all our slots in our hotbar, which will be slots 1 to 7. All right, and at the and we're comparing, and at the same time we are comparing the actual slot name to what we selected in our slot location here. So we're making sure that the slot 1 button is the exact same name as the frame that we're sending our skill to. Excuse me. So then down here, we look into our skill slots, and we're looking for the skill name that's already in there. If there is a skill name in there, or if there is not a skill name in there, it doesn't matter. It will always default everything in here to be it'll always default everything in here to nil, or it being blank, and whatever skill that was previously put in there is going to be set equipped. The equipped is going to be set to false, and it's not going to have a slot value anymore. So basically, this is just the first step into removing the old to make room for the new. You know, replacing the out with the old, in with the new. It's following that statement. However, if the off chance that skill is already in use, so can use that value equals false, it will not switch it out. It will not switch out that skill until the cooldown is finished. So then we come down here. This is where we actually get to the this is where we actually put in the skills. So like I said, this is the old and this is the new. So once again, we're gonna have the same for loop that looks for everything that's in our inventory here. Or not here, I'm sorry. That's in our inventory in skills holder. So it's finding everything in here, and we have it to this. So it's gonna look for if that skill is the one that is selected, and if we can use is true, then it's going to start throwing in all this data. So skills, so the skill that's chosen, it's going to be equipped. It's going to have true as equipped. The skill is going to define the skill slot here. The the is selected is going to go away because we're pretty much done with this. We've already thrown it in. It's just going to go down to the whole list of stuff it needs to do. So basically, this is everything that's going to be in our inventory. It's right now, it's just going to look at these 3 items. It's going to say if this value is available to switch out or to put a new one in, then we're going to make sure that in the inventory, we update this to it being equipped. In the skill slot, we're going to make sure that the slot is set to the to actually what slot it is, or in this case it's being set to the button that we selected here. But because that button is the same name as our actual hotbar, as there are slots in our hotbar, it'll be the same. So if anytime we want to make a reference to that, it will be easy because they're both named the same: slot 2, slot 2, slot 1, slot 1. So then now we go into our skill, into our actual hotbar, and we start defining the values for the cooldown, the skill name, and the timer. So we set our original cooldown timer to our chosen skills timer or cooldown, and we set the timer to the skills chosen to our chosen skills cooldown again. Now there is a difference between original cooldown and timer. The original cooldown is going to be a static object, so that means if we were to use the skill, this is going to this value will not go up and it won't go down. It's going to stay the exact same. That's why it's called original. The timer is going to be dynamic. That's the one that's going to have the changes. So if we use the skill, it's going to give us that cooldown timer, and you're going to see the numbers gradually going down until it hits 0. And then once it hits 0, then it will reset. Then the timer, in another script, the timer is going to reset to the original cooldown value. And then so that way you'll be able to repeat the process over and over again. Oops. Anyways, so we go down here and we're going to the skill name. So the skill name value is going to be equal to our chosen skills name, and then our skill slots, that skill name, that text is going to be our chosen skill name. The reason why I did it like that is this one, I mean, they both, it really doesn't matter which one you choose to use, because they're both going to give you the same results if you do choose to reference them in the end. I just feel that it's better to define the value. That way you can have a more cleaner code, in my opinion. Like this isn't clean. like I'm sorry, it's not clean, but I'm saying, like, in the future, if you want to, like, if you make this better, if you stick to using values, it's probably better than using the text. I don't know. It's like in my mind, it makes sense. It might not make sense to you, but you can literally choose which one you want to reference in the end here. And so at the very end, this is it's just going to set our at the very end of this, it's going to turn our slot location invisible again until the time where we choose another skill, and then it will become visible again. And then up here, like I said, if can use is true, then it'll let out a print saying skill is in use, cannot switch. Now the reason why I put in these can use values is because actually in the next video I have decided that I am going to set up a small skill, a few small skill examples. They're not going to be awesome epic skills. One is probably going to be a fireball, but like a really basic fireball. I'm just going to have it shoot out of your player's chest. And I don't know, one is going to be a wave. I don't know. We'll see. It's not going to be any like elaborate cool stuff going on. But yeah, so that is about it. I apologize. We're towards the end in the scripting where everything got a little out of hand. Like I said, I don't make scripts for when I mean scripts, I mean like lines. I don't make scripts for when I do tutorials. I probably should. I might in the future, but I don't. I take notes based on the knowledge I have, and I simply run through them. Probably not the best way to go about doing tutorials, but I mean, I don't know, but again, I apologize. If you need these scripts in the description, just comment it and I'll try to do that. Hopefully everyone was able to follow along. I know I was doing a lot of copying and pasting at the end. I was switching things around, but you should be able, like right now I'm literally just keeping it on this screen, so you should be able to just pause the video maybe and actually look at it. So I'll actually leave this up for a bit. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. If you want to see more content, that will be really helpful if you did that. And if you have any requests, I'm all for them. Just keep in mind, I'm not doing anything too complicated, like making an entire game. I don't do that kind of stuff. Like say you needed help with, oh, I want to make a double jump, a dash, or something like that. I don't know. If you want to do a sword equip, small sword equip system, I can do that. Stuff like that. But yeah, so again, thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Alright, bye!